Good morning, everyone. It's fasting day. Ugh. Anyway, I woke up this morning and went promptly right back to bed until Lynn woke me up and said, let's go to work. I am not hungry right now. And remember that I am quite seasoned when it comes to fasting. So you may have to do this a little bit differently in that preparing food on a fasting day night might not be cool for you. So what I'm doing here is preparing this meat for a twofold thing. We like to make soups, and so some of this will go to soup, and I think we'll save this one for barbecue. Ow, ow. Sometimes you got to go through a little bit. All right, just grab it and turn it. There we go. And I'm going to put these in for fermenting. Lesson learned, we bought some pickled eggs last year. Didn't get to eat them all. They sat here for 6 months, and boy, were they nicely penetrated. So this year, before we leave, we're going to have pickled eggs and pickled meats in the fridge and let them store for the whole winter. Now, these are a farmer sausage. And they make nice, as I call them, Polish sausage. When I was growing up, I worked for a fellow when I was in my early 20s, late teens, at a radio shop. He used to get in fermented meats all the time. And so I never really liked sauerkraut early on, but I did like the fermented meat. I get the pickled eggs. We keep these pickling juices, we just keep them going, right? And my experimenting with eggs has led me to not over hard boil them. I actually like those yolks just a hair on the soft side, and I mean a hair. But they make for very, very nice pickled eggs. I do find that pickled eggs straight out of the store, too often they are, I'm going to roll these on their sides, that first the pickled, or the egg itself is overcooked, and it doesn't have that, in my opinion, nice aftertaste. The yolks tend to be feeling a little bit sandy. Now, the caveat to that is I did over hard boil some last year. They were in the fridge for 6 months, and that longer duration of the vinegaring being attached to the egg. Just do it this way. was much nicer. But again, I still prefer, and I have to look it up. I think I had the eggs at 8 minutes, but then flash cooling them with ice. So as far as the fasting goes, I woke this morning, I was perfect. I fell back to sleep, which was perfect. And now I'm getting at all of this stuff. I won't be getting anywhere near food later. That part I do know. I will get the hangries going. I want to get through that stage. For me, that will be about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I quite often try and get, if it overcomes me, an afternoon nap. I only let that happen for one cycle, so that's about maybe 45 minutes. Any longer than that for me results in a bad sleep later in the day, or being just afternoon lethargic. So the other day I said that I was not going to run the microphone when I was cooking. Today I am, and we will see the difference. Of course, when you're watching this video, my fast should be successful, and I will be maybe or maybe not having my first meal. This one is the sauerkraut, and how we do this, guys, is I still want to get all of that stuff out of there, right? So for me, I will take these eggs out, take the egg out. I've got maybe a couple in here still. Oh, I got 3 in here. Now, again, like I say, I'm going to take a good chunk of this sauerkraut out. We will eat that over the next couple of days. And Lynn will just merely add more cabbage to this and keep this pickling going. We only keep this for about 2 batches. So the original batch plus 2. When we're ready to do the eggs, I've tried to do this simultaneously. It don't work. So like I say, if I wasn't aware of what's happening with my fasting cycle, I've grabbed a couple of pieces of this meat and just about flipped it in my mouth. So you have to get past your smells. Smells obviously impact your, I'll leave that up there, your triggers, right, for eating. Interesting that in a study of diabetics, there was the study was to find out why some diabetics won't lose weight on a low carb, non-ketogenic. So to stress that, so they were eating enough carb, but not a high sugar carb diet, and they could not lose weight. Of course, it's critical that diabetics lose the weight to increase their insulin sensitivity. Now, what was happening was they were allowed to drink and use things like artificial sugars, monk fruit, that type of thing, and stevia, etc. Now, I have become a 100% anti let's get these flipped over now. So in that study, what they found was that they were giving people the taste of sweet. Now, the insulin tests are quite expensive. And what was happening with the glucose testing is that there was no rise in glucose. But what the study did was test insulin. And what they found was that merely tasting, so they would give it on their tongue, taste, 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 spit, 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 swish, swish, swish. So nothing was actually getting into the body. No sugars were getting into the body. And this mere taste, which makes sense, right? We are not machines. So it makes sense to me, from the engineering side anyway, that that they might have an insulin spike, a primer, as it were, and that's exactly what happens. What they found was that there was a primer insulin that was released in anticipation of sugar, and the net result was this insulin, of course, will help you to store weight. Again, it comes full circle. How close can you get to nature on this? Olive oil, obviously, you can step on it and crush it, and you can extract the oil, and it will be crude. But, you know, again, you can run it through cloths and all sorts of things and get it not refined, but, you know, filtered enough so that it's usable. Now, same thing with coconut oil. Minor amount of heating. We've done this many times. A minor amount of heating, and I can get the oil out of it. Now, what I do, guys, is I tend to rotate these things about once a week. Think of them like a wine. Often they're on their side, a little more surface area, and these are kind of squared off jars. Just make sure that lid obviously is on tight. So that's my take on oils. My takes on protein are that they need to be as close to organic as you can get. Now, when I say close to it as you can get, it's expensive to get that certification. So in our case, with the eggs and with the chickens, if I can see where they're being laid, if I can see the environment that they're in, I do know that they have to have the laying mash, otherwise they won't produce the eggs. And also I want to know at what stage they're culling the chickens. As an example, when we're in the Philippines, we'll only be there for 6 months, so we won't get to that old hen culling stage where they're starting to produce eggs and then eating that. We will be culling ours every 6 months before we leave, so we'll have a whole bunch of chicken there, and we'll freeze it up and give it to the family. And probably month 5 we'll cull a few just for our own eating. Your macro tomorrow is going to be really focused on protein, and lean protein. Most of the world has got some weight to lose. Let's go that. And so not to worry about your fat. Take it from your body. Okay, so you want some lean protein. You want to get some walking in. So that's it. I will have some more updates as we go through the day, and I will pare this video down. Later, Gators. We've finished cooking up all the meat, and I have also, this larger jar was various peppers and onions and stuff like that. And then we took a smaller jar that we had and added the vinegar to it. And then that had our meat and such in it. Now, this has run its cycle, so we're done with this one again. I do not know how long pickling juices would last, so if somebody knows, let me know. Otherwise, I'll have to look it up. Okay, I'll put that away. I've got my fermented meat in here. Again, we will rotate that, lay it on its edge once this is cooled down. And I've now got a spare jar. This had pickled onions in it. Okay, pickled onions and sauerkrauts underneath. And now I've moved all of the eggs to this one container. Notice this particular egg, how dark that one is. That was in this nice juice all 6 months. And I'll tell you, the spices in this mix went all the way through to the yolk. Very nice. So we will continue that practice. Well, I got through the day pretty good. I had hunger pangs, no hangry, and had a little nap. It wasn't very deep. It was pretty shallow. Did a lot of video editing today. Got a video coming up for India, part 2 of 3. That'll be airing on Sunday. And Tomorrow I will talk to you about how to break my fast. Other than that, it's been a good day. I can't think of anything else really to tell you. Hope you enjoy your day. Bye now.